Good afternoon, world. I hope everyone's well out there. Been contemplating how to speak to nuclear safety, general population safety of being around nuclear materials. And it's amazing how hard a conversation that is to have. What exactly are the risks from radiation exposure? There is such a dichotomy in the information supplied out there. On the one hand, we spend billions to isolate, to clean up, to regulate, and to store. We're going to store this stuff, to store it away from people, not very safely if you check out the history of storage of these types of materials, because profits are much more important in Wall Street than these nuclear materials are. I'm guessing. This is just, hyperbole here. So health statistics, health risks from nuclear exposure, nuclear releases. On the one hand, I said billions of dollars is spent on this federally, paying little corporations, limited liability corporations out there that are relatives to big corporations out there, cleaning up their own mess after decades of creating their own mess. It keeps companies like DuPont afloat, all those little LLCs propping up their businesses, paying royalties back to the owners of the technologies. But in all of this, we know America's nuclear test veterans, that court case was recently settled in history, and they won. Almost a generation after it mattered. So there is harm from exposure to these materials. Period. End. There is no question. It is a matter of records. But in the last few decades, the records stopped being taken and talked about. Health records got more disparate and screwed up and harder to understand. And yet they aren't. That would be the only way to get to the information about the risks and the harm from exposure to nuclear materials. And we seem helpless to do this. Largest, most profitable industry on this planet is information technology. And we don't know how to use information technology. So there is great risk and harm in nuclear. Our federal institutions use chemical hazards to decide where to build the next hospital. Somewhere back in those subtle studies to rationalize millions of dollars for a hospital facility or campus or a better education. It's gotten so convoluted. It's like trying to talk about letters in the alphabet as if we ain't done.